Well, hey everybody, it's your old friend Oxtail coming back to you again, doing another kind of reaction, but this is just more of my overview of the volumes as I see them and I kind of rate them. So I said I was going to be doing this, so let's go ahead and get this started. So we had Volume 1, the intro to RWBY. What a great intro to a series that was so pulled out of literally, from what I understand, kind of out of the great mind of Monty Ohm. God rest your soul, man. Just out of his mind, he created something so that revolutionized, I feel, the anime genre, because we went into a 3D kind of world. It was done by a different style of animation. We met some wonderful, wonderful, wonderful characters, and I just can't believe how well this went through. How well it was received by the community overall. So we're going to pause that right there. I wanted to do the intro in the background. So, what an amazing first volume. How do I feel about it? It was good. I mean, yes, it had some, the budgeting issues, which I understood. The quality animation wasn't quite there yet. But besides all that, I can overlook all that. What pulls me into an animation is the story. And this story caught me within the first 8 episodes. First 8 episodes caught me. Not very many animes can do that. Now, even Full Metal Alchemist, I didn't even get deep into Full Metal Alchemist, where I was like, oh gosh, I love this show, until the and this is going to sound kind of dark, but the Shao Tucker arc. The Leor was kind of interesting, but I didn't really kind of get into it until they started doing some of that, dark stuff. And you know what I'm talking about. I'm not giving you spoilers, just in case there's people that haven't seen Full Metal Alchemist, but I didn't get into it. And then there's a couple animes that are like that. Shoot, I didn't watch Naruto. Naruto's another big one. I didn't watch Naruto until the actual until Shippuden, really. The first one I didn't really even watch. The first Naruto, I didn't actually watch it very much. And I watched Bleach, and then they canceled it, and then I read the manga, which I think the manga suffered at the very end with that one. But yeah, I mean, what a good intro. We met all the girls. We met Ruby, Weiss, Blake, and Yang. Some interesting characteristics. We got to learn about the world of Remnant. This world of Remnant was such an amazing introduction. It's kind of like Star Wars. Star Wars in the 70s was revolutionary because it basically put you a galaxy far away into. They had to develop worlds, the Force, the Jedi. This whole thing came out of George Lucas's head, and a lot of other great, helped them with this, but overall, a lot of it came out of his head. And to have that story building, to have that just be iconic to this day and age. Lord of the Rings, even though there's a book based on it, Lord of the Rings did really good with the movies. A lot of people were kind of like, I can take or leave the movies. But again, Lord of the Rings, a good series. And even with Tolkien, Tolkien created Lord of the Rings, even though they had the movies. The movies were great, but it just was done so well with the movies and the books that they created such a vibrant world in his mind. So it's just cool to see that. Now, where I place these, I'm gonna tell you guys later. But I'm glad I got to see the intro. I got to see some great, like I said, the great characters of just going to school. It's kind of like that whole, hey, I'm awkward. We're going to school. and it's kind of leaning towards more of the younger generations that are going into school for the first time, that are in something new that they don't understand or really expect. And I like that. And it kind of brought me back to when I was going to school and how awkward I was. So, overall, Volume 1 was a great intro to the series, and without a doubt, why I got into RWBY the way I did. Catching me early on like that, absolutely amazing. So let's go ahead and go on to Volume 2. I'm just doing the intros right now there, folks. So, Volume 2. What can I not say about Volume 2? Volume 2 just... the animation improved. The storyline improved. It kicked itself off fast. And I am just so glad to see how well it was received in the second season. Not a lot of animes can get that. And so to see these girls come together even more, it was just awesome. It was amazing. And I'm sorry, I watched the actual entry. It just speaks to a lot. I love that little transition right there. Wow. It's just so, it speaks to a lot of how just the storyline developed, the animation improved, it had a bigger budget this time. Um, Monty was in full swing at that time. I just am so glad that they took that first season and learned of the first volume. I don't want to say season and volume. They're interchangeable at this stage. But what a great just transition from 1 to 2, and to still keep the audience, to still keep them interested, to keep the story well loved. Some great action sequences in this one. This one added a lot of great just notations, and when I say notations, just great things that you're gonna go, oh, remember that thing right there, like the fight between Yang and the mech. I mean, everyone's gonna talk. Anyone that says Volume 2, oh, remember the fight with Yang and the mechs and the team with the mech? Oh, that's gonna be the first one they bring, or the food fight, the very beginning. The food fight is gonna be something that people bring up. And then we had it just was well done, and well done. And then the fight at the very end, that scene where Ublik and the girls, I should say, not kids, got to um, help out the town that was, helped out that town that the White Fang blew up the holes with Roman, and we got to meet best girl Neo, who was very adorable and very cute. Um, Everyone would talk about that, how Neo was brought into the uh, fold of things. And then we got that epic fight with Team Coffee. What a great intro to that group. We got to see a little bit of Velvet early on when they were, and then the dance. Gosh, the dance. I mean, this one had so many. I'm probably missing a few that probably stand out, but those stand out in my mind. Those big moments like that, and not even some of them were even big. The dance I wouldn't feel like was big. It was really hyped up a little bit, but it wasn't like a fight. It was just a social gathering where the girls got together, and it still stands out in my mind. It still resonates with me to this day. Um, and I just loved it. And Jean, and to see that dynamic between Jean and Pyrrha grow from Volume 1 to Volume 2, it was amazing. And you could tell early on that she really did care about him. And that story, the background stories, from we got Volume 1 where Ruby was learning to be a leader, Weiss was learning to be a little bit more kinder, Blake was learning to trust her teammates, Yang was kind of really Yang. She did develop as a character, but I feel like she just kind of had this one kind of track laid out for her. She's like, I'm just gonna do this and just keep on going until I stop. But that's what makes Yang really special, and to see that dynamic still can carry over from Volume 1 to Volume 2, absolutely stellar. And to see the continuation of that was just well done. So let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Volume 3, the start of the fall of the team. Not RWBY, just a team. Just the fall of Beacon. The just how everything went really dark very fast. Such a great story. And what I gotta say about this, we'll wait for the intro to finish up. I mean, just to read, now reading the words, you get more out of it. Be no rest, there'll be no life. Oh yes! These. Oh, and then we see I didn't notice this. They all split apart. Look how defeated they look. What can I say about Volume 3? It was the fall of the girls, and they had a devastating, losses right at the end. I'm trying not to be emotional about it because Volume 3 really got to me, and a good. I mean, I'm not saying it was a good emotional connection. I am just glad I could develop that with the anime. I don't normally do that, but when an anime reaches to you in a certain manner, again referring to Full Metal Alchemist, some of the ones that we had some great, some just devastating losses. It just was interesting to see that turn, and again, it was great. We got to meet some great characters: Crow, Winter. Got to see some more character development with Emerald and Mercury a little bit, and just that whole plotting of that fall of Beacon, and that's what the intro really speaks to, is that fall of Beacon, of the girls, of everything that they've known. Everything was just tossed out in the wind because of this devastating attack from the White Fang, who, Blake was associated with at some point, but she, this story was so well done. As a darker element to the whole book of everything, it was still well done. I know that Monty didn't have a lot to do with Volume 3 because of his passing, but to see, or did he? I don't remember if he passed away at the end of Volume 3 or at the beginning of Volume 3. I always forget that. So forgive me, I'm sorry. But to see Penny and Pyrrha, taken out the way that they were, and I don't think I've ever. I mean, I've cried, and I've cried in remorse and cried in pain and stuff like that. For animation to cause that kind of feeling and that kind of emotion makes me love it even more. Even though it was hurtful, even though I was in tears and so you loved it, relished in the tears. This particular volume really means a lot to me, and even though It had some darkness in it. We lost two of our favorite girls. And well, we really even lost more than that because we lost Roman, who was, I think, even though he might have been a bad guy, he was still cool. So, and then we lost we lost Neo, but I don't know if she's dead or not. No, we don't know if she's died, so that's all up in the air. So, this one was really good. And let's go ahead and continue before I get emotional. And we got Volume 4. The new animation with the new engine. Wow. This animation went from, great to whoa. I mean, just look at how they changed everything. And then we had, so, it's such, watch episode right now like that. I've already watched you. So I loved it. Salem. Let's just live. Twice. And that last part right there was a shout out to Monty. Man, Volume 4. It was the engine that they developed or they used for this amazing. Artwork amazing. Story good. I'm not gonna knock it. It was good. It just felt because we got the girls in a separated state. So the story was a lot of focusing on one person for a little bit and then go to the next person. Focus on that person for a little bit and go into the next person. Kind of catching up where everyone was, and then kind of doing their own little arcs, as it were. So we got to see Weiss, and and I've said this before with Weiss, she never stopped growing as an individual. Weiss had never stopped growing up, started just being more of a open and compassionate, openly compassionate, and she was always compassionate, but she held it in a lot because that's how she was raised. And then to see her change because now she became the gilded bird in the gilded cage, she knew what she needed to do. And that's amazing to see that from that character. RWBY, just her determination. The determination behind RWBY from the first 3 episodes. So in the first 3 volumes, so she was determined to be a good leader for her team. Now she's determined to find out and to help others get it, and not let the same thing that happened to Beacon happen again. And that determination rings volumes. Blake, to see her go and from this, she kind of really backtracked really a lot during the last part of Volume 3, and then we got to see her change a little bit in a good way. So she got to, she got together with Sun. We got to see her amazing family, best mom, best dad. Well, second best dad. I can't. Sorry, I have to correct myself. Sorry, I'm a Ty fan. I love Ty, and Gira's good, but Ty's just a tad bit better because he is the girl's dad. So, to see that development there was just really good for Blake. I think she definitely needed a good kick in the pants, and she caught it. She really needed someone to just tell her, hey, stop doing what you're doing. You're hurting us as much as you think you might be hurting the enemy when you push us away. And Sun was absolutely right, spot on. And then Yang, we didn't get a lot of Yang during this volume. We got a little bit, but not as much as we could have gotten. But it was good for what it was. We got to we got to see Yang, and we got to see her in her depressed state, her just defeated, moment, and she was defeated for a little bit, and I think that was beautiful to see her say, you know what, I'm not going to sit here and do this anymore. I'm not going to sit here and think about shoulda, coulda, woulda. You know, I understand that she was depressed, but she worked with her dad. She got that arm, and she looked amazing at the very end. So to see her go out and say, you know what, I'm going to go help my sister because she needs me, speaks volumes about Yang. I loved it. It was really good. So let's go ahead and continue on. And then the fight at the end. Sorry, I was going to move on there for a second, but I just remembered there was some key elements in there, some pretty decent fights, but the overall biggest fight was the ending with that horse grim. So Knuckleave, however you call it. So that thing was creepy and scary, and I'm glad that they defeated it. We got to see. Oh, speaking of which, now that I thought about that, we got to see a little bit of background on the War on Rin, which was really good. I like that too. So it was really good to see them get a kind of a backstory for them. So, all right, to the next volume 5, one we just finished. Volume 5. So what can I say about Volume 5? Once this thing is finished, we'll talk about it. That look at Crow's face. And Oscar, we got to meet Oscar in Volume 4. I forgot about that. Oh. We got to meet Tyrion too. I almost forgot about that too as well. Tyrion was creepy as well. Got to meet Team Witch. That was good. God, I forgot all about that in Volume 4. That's why I don't script date my stuff. I just kind of think over my stuff. Maybe I should start scripting it, but I'm like, I'll just do it live. Yes. Yes, that ending scene. Gosh, with that freaking image of Salem from Emerald, the illusion. Volume 5. Volume 5 was in its own right the good guys were going to triumph over what's going on. We knew that this was coming to a head at some point with them going towards Mistral. That Mistral was going to be the next target for the White Fang and for Salem. We got introduced a little bit to the Raven in Volume 2, but we got a really big, thing with her. We got so much story, and just so much of it was really well done. The story between Blake trying to motivate the Faunus to change their minds to go help, Weiss basically defying her parents and leaving to come to Mistral, Yang on her travels to meeting Shady Guy. Yeah, it's just such a great combination of all the girls slowly coming together as one, and that, gosh, is what we needed. It's been so long since we've seen the girls together. We had some great action. Learned a lot more about Osmond, what he is all about, what's his deal. We got to learn um, about Lionheart, which was completely his. He played his character perfectly. The cowardly lion role. That was just, and it's just amazing to see how far they have come to get where they are, and there's the pain that they felt, between, that the pain that was still there from everything was still there, but they slowly just, said, hey, we need to focus on a goal, and our goal is to protect Haven, and they did, and they did that as a group, and that was amazing. The only thing, and I've said this in my reaction, is that I wish they had the other groups in there. Team Coffee, who doesn't love Velvet and Coco, all them. Those, according to Geek Goddess, they're a favorite, which I don't blame them. I mean, I said, who doesn't love Velvet? I mean, Velvet is awesome. And then we didn't get to see Sun's team. I would just love to have seen a little bit more of that. So, now comes to it. The rankings. You're going to probably be surprised. And again, this is my own opinion. These are just my own thoughts. I respect everyone's opinion on all these. I do. I think everyone has the right to their opinion. So for number 5, as I kind of said in my reaction, 5 is going to be 5. It wasn't my favorite volume, but it was a good volume for where it stands. And I was glad to see the girls get together. Like I said, my primary complaints were the ones I just listed. And I'm not saying that's a bad, bad writing, bad, just bad overall. It doesn't make it bad. It just, I feel like they could have added more. And that's the only reason why I knocked out. And someone suggested me watch the rewind, and I might go back into that and watch to see what was the reasoning behind not adding the extra characters. And maybe that might explain that, but that doesn't still add. I mean, it's already done. The volume's already over, so it doesn't add them. So hopefully we get to see them in volume 6. For my number 4 spot is going to be volume 1, only because it was the intro, as it was. The intro to the story still really good. Had a lot of great, spots in there. Got to meet Penny, so can't knock that. And I loved where it was. It just was the intro, and that's why I kind of ranked it further down. For my number 3 spot is going to be Volume 4. Now, 1 and 4 can kind of go either way with me. So, only because I liked 4 for the new engine, the story of the girls figuring out themselves, basically doing some self-reflection. And that's what I liked about it. It was self-reflection. It was a lot of that just overcoming what happened to them as individuals, even though RWBY kind of had, the others with her. They really did have to kind of overcome their own fears and doubts, and just overall just overcome themselves, basically. And basically were able to do that in Volume 4. Even Rin and Nora had to overcome their fears as well. And so that's what makes that amazing. So, a top 2. My top 2, 3 is going to be number 1, and number 2 is going to be number 2, season volume 2. 3 was, even as devastating as it was, I really liked 3 for what it was and how it impacted me. Even though it was dark, even though we had the loss of Pyrrha and Penny and Roman and Neo, we had, even though those two are bad, but still, lose them, never fun. I liked where it was, and then two for the action, and then two is two because of the action, the standalone moments that speak out to you, the ones that you're gonna always remember from whenever the series ends, uh, and whenever you talk to other fans about the series, I can bet that three and two are normally the biggest two seasons that most people talk about. That those two seasons are going to be. I could be wrong again, but I mean, I feel like that is a pretty good assessment on that. It's just that two had some great action scenes, and it needs to be. It's number two, but three just hit me in a place where I live. Hit me in my soul. Hit me where I live. and and I think it stands out a little bit over the top over two. So there you go. So hopefully you agree with my. What do you think? If you like that, give me a thumbs up on this video. I appreciate all the feedback and love that I get from you guys. Um, and guess what? We are getting to Red versus Blue. So be expecting that tomorrow. I was going to do that today, but I had some things come up today, so I apologize. But we will have that for you folks tomorrow. And we will continue on with Camp Camp throughout the week. And then this weekend we'll be on Chibi, so be expecting some Chibi coming back on this weekend. Um, and then we will keep on going until we get done with Camp Camp. And then we'll be into Red versus Blue fully. And then Nomad of Nowhere will be the following will be released actually with Chibi. So I'll probably do Chibi since it is short, and then we'll do the reaction to the Nomad of Nowhere and see how that one turns out. So, folks, thank you again for joining me. I love you all. You're all amazing individuals, and I'll see you next time. Peace out. Shabam.